Hi everyone, happy Labor Day, and thanks to any and all of you for being with me here today. I'm so glad to be back. I've been gone from social media for a while because there's been so much to do here. This house turned into a mostly complete renovation when I was not planning on or anticipating that. What started several months ago with somebody in the attic crashing through the ceiling and one spot in the ceiling needing to be fixed turned into an almost whole house renewal. So that's what happened, and it's continuing, but I am now on the downslope, so that's a good thing because it's been a nightmare. But let's be optimistic, nightmares don't last, and so here we are. It's almost done. I have to have one more person come in and do a few more things. It's starting to look beautiful, although it's a complete disastrous mess right now, but I can see the beauty coming through. All the new things we do to make it look mid-century. For those of us who love the old school throwback mid-century look, which is actually very beautiful. There's an opulence about it that I love. And I'm really inspired by a couple of the TV homes, and one of them is the Bewitched set and the actual house, which was and is so very, very, very beautiful to me. You know, there are a few pieces here that are inspired by the Bewitched home and, you know, the pieces that they had on set, and I'm putting those in. There are other pieces that are also vintage inspired. Then there are some newer things which are, you know, they're important to me. They're elements from, they include elements from my childhood, things that are symbolic and important to me, things that carry memories. Although I had such a turbulent childhood, there's a lot of longing in there. So there are things that are very pretty and make me happy, so I use those. I've been doing a lot of the work by myself on my own because I really need things done a certain way. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of painting. It was not something that I intended. I've been doing a lot of touches myself. So that brings me to vintaging and thrifting, which I've always thought was really fun. Although I really like high-end clothing, products and other items, and I do believe in investment pieces. I also believe that most of the time you get what you pay for. So if you're buying a low quality item for a lower price, it's not going to last, and that's what you get. If you buy a better item from, you know, a certain brand and you spend more money, it will last. So that's what I've been doing, but I've been mixing it with elements of vintage and even thrift because it's so enjoyable to go on a treasure hunt. And actually mixing and matching pieces, high end, low end, you know, is actually, it gives texture and character and depth, dimension, and a lot of interest. And you know, you want history as part of your texture, and there are so many wonderful finds that I've come across. What really helps is that when you're going thrifting, to know what you're going in for. I mean, if you're only going to browse and it's just a sort of amusement and entertainment to you, well, that's actually really fun and enjoyable. But if you're going in there wanting to buy something and don't know what you want to buy, don't know the theme you're after, then you should probably go on Instagram. What I did is I did things just inspired in my own head. I knew what I wanted, and lately I've been wanting photograph frames, and I don't intend to buy any brand new modern frames. I have bought some, which is one design only, because I have something in mind which I will show you here in this vlog. But the rest are vintage frames that I've been going after, so I've been thrifting for those. Vintage frames are just beautiful, and you don't see any like those these days. They have a different backing, they have a different element. Some are a little distressed, which I like. They have a patina on them. I don't go after anything that has wear and tear. That's the difference between distressed and wear and tear. So I found a lot of beautiful vintage frames, and I found them at places like local thrift stores. And then I plan on going into LA, into the city, because there are some really interesting stores there. I will tell you my history with thrift stores. I've been doing this for a few years, since approximately, I would say, 2012 and 13, when I lived in the city of Los Angeles. I've lived in Brentwood, Beverly Hills, and West LA and Hollywood as well. West LA was the most recent location, and then I moved here, which I really like a lot better, So here's the thing. I've checked out a lot of vintage shops, and there are the more boutique-y shops, and then there are the more just strictly thrift shops, but you can find some real treasures. I'm going to tell you something. I'm so excited, and this vlog is about animals, mainly, but I am including this because it's so fun, and I do have some very important and fun facts about dogs, and I have my notes here, which I will present to you later in this vlog, because I feel the most important comes later, so it stays forefront in the mind more. So I will show you the frames that I bought that I'm really excited about. I love these, so I'm not editing, so I'll just take you with me, and here we go. Here are some frames, and they're vintage when you see a label on them that says made in the USA, because things started being manufactured overseas in China, I believe, much later. These are 50s, 60s, 70s, early 80s pieces, which I love, and this is a frame. So when I bring these back to the house, I do clean them thoroughly, but with me, I actually prime them before I clean them, so I do a cleaning before the cleaning, and you do have to be careful. So you can tell by these elements that this is, this is actually old, it's vintage. And here's a piece. What I was talking about is distressed, but not wear and tear. So I like this. I've gone through it, but I'm going to have this part professionally cleaned. This is a really nice velvet, so you know that they don't do them like these anymore. So this is going to be for my daughter, and my son will probably be in here. I have a lot of framed photographs of them already, and my beautiful dearest Puba as well. So here's another one. These all have glass covers, of course. Now with this one, what I did is I wanted to remove this one, although this is really cute, it's a pretty watercolor. But I want to put a picture in this, but I can't not remove this actual one. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting the photograph in here, because I want to keep these elements, this lavender and this what I call a 60s green. I think it's just so pretty. You know, uh, you don't see frames made like this anymore. Now, the new ones I purchased are, I think, about 3 or 4 of these. I have one in another room. This is vintage inspired, as you can tell. And what I did with it is, this one is brand new. So what I did with it is one of my projects, which is this. And this holds a lot of significance for me. It's just elements that remind me of when I was growing up in Chatsworth. Of course, this says Oakland. I just thought it was cute, so I put it there. You know, the surfboards. Things, to me, I'm very symbolic, you know, so I like symbolism, and music is just part of my life. So I made this, and I'm going to make a few more like this. And, you know, so here we go. And then with these, I found a vintage piece of clothing at, I believe it was the Salvation Army right here. And I bought it for its buttons. And the top, which is a button down, I was going to throw away. But actually, I decided, and I will show it in a future vlog, I'm going to wear it as a kimono because it is so cute. It's like an A-line cut, because right before I threw it out, I thought, well, you know what, let me try it on really quickly. It has a slit on each side. It comes down right before the back of the knees, so it's the perfect length. And these buttons I'm going to use for something, either for a piece of clothing, and I won't use them all on the same piece, or I'll use them for a project. And you know, here you can see the other projects that I have going. There's so much here. And let's see if you can see here. So I'm going to be doing a few more of those California frames, but I also bought some 3D stickers for my daughter because I'm going to make a project for her. She is a violin lover. She plays the violin, and she's a professional ballerina. So I'm working on one of those frames for her. The reason I haven't started hers yet is because for my loved ones, I want everything to always be perfect, whereas for myself, I can be a little more, you know, casual with it. But for my loved ones, I'm always wanting everything to be perfect. So it's a something that I need to really, really take my time with. I did find this, which I'm very proud of, this vintage perfume bottle. And I love perfume bottles. And then, so at a thrift store, these I bought, but let's see, I put them here because I will forget. They've been sitting here for months and months. They need to be altered. So they need to be cropped, and I've just been neglecting them because of the house project. So the one thing, these are all new, but the one thing that I actually found at a thrift store is I believe these right here, and I think I paid like $7.99 for these right here, and they have tears, and they're actually not high-waisted. They're kind of short-waisted actually, so they're skinny, they're ripped, they're really cute, and they fit me really well. So I bought them. They were only $7.99 as opposed to $200 and $300 something for each of these. And as to why I bought two of the exact pair, what was going through my head is that I want to wear one a little longer down to my ankles, and I want to wear one that's above my ankles. It's a more flattering cut, but I do like the full length, and these are so comfortable. Oh my God, I swear, these are so soft. They are just so comfortable. Yeah, the sizing is not consistent because one pair fits me fine, the other one is too tight. So, you know, I tend to think it's not because I've gained weight, because one does fit and they're both 24s and one is just way tight. I don't know what's going on there. So, now, if I can set this back right, I want to talk about something else that I found at a thrift store. It was not a vintage store, it's a thrift store. So I feel like I got really lucky. This was just a couple days ago, actually, the day before yesterday. I was having a particularly good day. You know, I'm getting to a better place in my life. Sometimes really painful things bring about good things and healing. So that day I woke up and I just discovered so much more about myself. You know, so it was a really good day, and I decided after I did my work, I was going to just stop by some thrift stores, and if I could find a vintage store, that would be even better. So what happened is I went to the Salvation Army, and I think all of them, I haven't been to all of them, but I think I would be right in saying all of them do have a glass case when you walk in, where the cashier is, where they keep things that they think might be more expensive or older than the 90s. Or they have some 90s things too, but I'm not a fan of the 90s. You know, I was incarcerated in the 90s, and also I think it was a tacky decade, so it's not my favorite. What really holds beauty to me is the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, of course the 70s, the early 80s, mid 80s. So what I was so lucky to find is a vintage, and a very vintage, black and velvet and satin lined Yves Saint Laurent jewelry box. Well, it was a jewelry holder for cufflinks, and it's black on the outside, it's white velvet on the inside, and white satin as well, and it has the Yves Saint Laurent stamped in gold on the outside and black on the white satin and velvet on the inside. And it had some cufflinks in there, which I immediately recognized were not of its own. So I asked the clerk, please, can I just buy the box? So here's what happened. I'm very smart, you know. So what happened is that the cufflinks didn't belong in there, but they were being sold in the box, and the entire this entire piece, you know, with the cufflinks in the box, I think was marked about $14.99. Okay, so if this had not gone my way, I would have still purchased it, because $14.99 was just fantastic, you know, because of what I would be getting, which is the box. However, I asked her, hey, please, would you just sell me the box, only because these cufflinks don't belong in here? And she was like, yeah, I see what you mean, but yeah, I can't do that. And I was like, you're the manager, right? And she said, no, but I am the assistant. I said, well, great, then you can do that. You know, you are a manager assistant, you know. And she said, you know what, I'd like to, but I can't. She was really nice about it, you know. She felt she couldn't, you know. So I felt that there's still something that can be done. So I asked her, well, you know what, I understand, you know, what is your manager here by any chance? And she said, well, yeah, our manager is back there. And it was a lady that I had ran into when I first walked in. So she went to go talk to her about the box, and instead of just standing there, I went there too. And I was like, hi, listen, you know, there's a special project that I want this for. I actually wanted to put it in my vitrine. So it was going to be as part of a collection in my hallway vanity. which has been painted all like a semi-gloss white, so it's really 60s and pretty. And I'm going to put a fur throw there, and I want to put vintage perfume bottles and a couple vintage boxes if I can find them. So she looked at me, she looked at the box with the cufflinks, she looked at me again, and I was like, thank you. So she's like, she went to the back and she came back and she handed me the box, and I was like, you're giving this to me? And I was smiling, and she said, well, no, I can't just give it to you, but here you go. And I looked at it, and she had priced it at $2.99. I couldn't believe how wonderful this was going. I was like, thank you so much. So I walked around, but do you know what else I found in the glass display? Still in its package, a 60s black and gold mirror compact. And these will be shown in future vlogs or a vlog. And it was still in its package, and I couldn't believe it. And it was like $4.99. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take these two. I also found a green cashmere sweater, and I bought that, which I don't think it was vintage, but it was really, really cute. So when I have it dry cleaned, I can wear that for the winter time. Okay, so I want to note something. Do I still use skins? Okay, absolutely no furs. There are some cashmeres and wools that I use. If the brand and designer that I'm purchasing it from, I know that they're sourcing these cruelty-free and responsibly. And so these are shavings that they're using, not the animal. These are shavings of the excess hair of the animal. Okay, because they do that. They make makeup brushes, they make pieces of clothing with shavings. So that's what I've been doing, and I will also address leather. Will I touch fur? Absolutely not. I know a few years ago I had 2 fur coats, and they were actual fur that somebody had given me because she had bought new ones. So she gave me those 2, and they were actually a few years ago. So I took them. Hey, thanks, you know, put them in my closet, never wore them. And then I think it was about 5 years ago when I threw them away. I didn't give them away, I threw them, I disposed of them in the trash. And they were expensive coats, but I don't care. So I will not use fur. I'm flawed. I'm flawed, you know, in using cashmere. This is not an excuse, but it is sourced cruelty-free, and that's so important to me. You know, it's one of the most important things to me. So if they're going to throw away the excess hair, well, can they use it for clothing then? So that's what I'm saying. Without causing any harm to the animal. And with that, I'd like to bring you some fun and very important facts in my notes that I have here. And these, I feel, are some things that everybody who loves animals, everybody should know. So, 1, dogs are as smart as 2-year-old children. So that's actually true. I've read that they're smart as 12-year-olds. That's they're actually smarter, because I feel like 2-year-olds are still at the stage where their minds have not been clouded. Babies and toddlers actually have a much higher intelligence than we know, because their minds have not yet been polluted or clouded by so many other factors. So dogs are as smart as 2-year-old children. And my notes are from research that I've done. So I'm not a certified behavioral pro, but I do somewhat disagree with this one. So in that children's minds have not been clouded at the age of 2 by cynicism, society, and so many other factors that come into play later on. They have the innocence of 2-year-olds, but they're actually far smarter than a teen, young adult, or even adults. Yes, dogs have extremely high intelligence. Their sensitivity and their innocence is that of 2-year-olds, and that makes them even more endearing to me than they already are. 2, dogs can read emotions, of course. So here's the thing: when a dog looks at your face, they aren't always trying to get your attention or, you know, beg for a cookie. Sometimes they're actually taking in your emotions. According to researchers from the University of Lincoln, dogs are the only animals that can see in a glance if we're happy, sad, angry, and, you know, seeing our other emotions as if they were reading them. Just like humans, dogs have a left gaze bias when looking at a human face. This indicates that dogs are looking at the right side of the face, which shows emotions more accurately than the left. That's to my left. Dogs don't feel guilt. So no, they don't. When they, you know, when they're witnessing your emotions, and specifically, you know, they feel your negative response, and therefore what they're showing is not guilt. What they're showing actually is anxiety and fear. So disciplining dogs and animals for their own safety, for their own good, so that they can be safe is important. Yelling at, berating them, and disciplining them in other ways, to me, in my opinion, is not good. If you're angry at them for something that they've done, because dogs are without guile. Dogs don't do things with bad intentions. Even if they bite, it's because they're in some kind of fear, or maybe they're rabid, and that's, you know, rabies. And these things are not their fault. So what you might think is they're showing guilt is not. They're actually showing anxiety and fear. So please always be careful around your dogs, cats, and other animals. 4, a dog's sense of smell is 10,000 to 100,000 times stronger than ours. 5, dogs are amazingly diverse. 6, different tail wags mean different things. 7, dogs can see some colors. 8, dogs do dream like humans. Also, they dream like dogs, but they also dream like humans. 9, dogs can help people with health problems, and this is common knowledge, but maybe not as common as, you know, you and I might think. Dogs can smell and sense health problems, cancer, a coming seizure, some type of chronic and or acute problems. So they can, and these are dogs that can sniff these conditions even if they haven't been trained to, which is really interesting. So in that way, they can help you, because if they're sensing it and you know about it in time, then it's something that you can address. Dogs sweat through their paws, number 10. Yes, they pant also, so that's a form of them sweating, but they also do sweat through their pawsies. Unlike humans who have sweat glands over most of their bodies, the majority of a dog's sweat glands are located in their paws. So when they're panting, they're trying to sweat it out, but they do sweat through their paws. Please, not only in times of this California heat, if you live in California, but anywhere that you live in the times of heat, remember, dogs heat up quickly, more quickly, and more extremely than humans. Do not take a dog out in the heat if you don't absolutely have to. I know it's great to take them for a pup cup. I know in California there are pup cups, and there should be kitty chinos as well. Don't leave them in a car, even with the windows rolled down, okay? It's not good for them. Please don't do that. Always take care of them in the heat, in the cold, in any condition. Always be extra vigilant of your pets and all animals. And anytime you see an animal in heat, you know, even if that dog does reproduce, get that dog fixed after that. Don't breed dogs for a living. If you want to breed your dog to keep the puppies because you love your dog so much, once is okay. Do not breed them over and over again. Remember, adopt, don't shop. And again, thank any and all of you for being here, and I hope to be back soon. And then after a mini vacation that I'm going to be taking to be good to myself after all of this, it's still going to take a while, then I will be back, hopefully full time, to do what I love, talk about animals on and all over my social media, and to do so much more good. Thank you so much. You guys have a great rest of the weekend. I count this Monday as a day of the weekend because it's a holiday. So, hey, have a great one. Be good to yourselves, but please be even better to animals. Bye.